Church of England forgave paedophiles and allowed them to continue working with children, inquiry finds. If we can't even address the stain on humanity, I have no idea how we will address climate change or anything else. Ixa said a culture of fear and secrecy within the church about sexuality had also fostered a climate of abuse, because pedophilia was wrongly conflated with homosexuality, part which pisses me off the most. We won't hold anyone accountable because only gays rape children. Fuck the church. I shall forgive the fox and allow it to work in the chicken coop. The church is complicit in child rape. The organization is criminal, not just the individual offenders. The church leadership should be arrested. I always find it's funny that this entire Church of England came to an existence only because some king wanted to fuck some girl who was not his wife at the time. Removed. I was sexually abused from 4 to 14. This is just an insult to the kids involved, their families, and any sexual abuse survivor. I'm so sick of this fucking world. If I could, I would Thanos the fuck out of all pedophiles. It boggles my mind how any parents in any church can trust their kids with the clergy. Hey, did you guys hear about that church that protected pedophiles? No, that other one. No, that other one. I'd just like to add, this is not the Catholic Church. Seems some of you are confused. This is the Anglican Church. Different group, same values though, according to this article. Just remember that religious leaders like this are the ones preaching against LGBT people, claiming that LGBT are a danger to children. Edit, many people telling me Church of England is LGBT friendly. I will defer to them. Mr. Pope. I'm going to marry my first wife, and then I'm going to divorce her. Now, I know what you're going to say, but stick with me, my story gets better. I'm going to marry my second wife and then I'm going to kill her, cut her head off. Not expecting that, are ya? Third wife, gonna shoot her. Fourth wife, put her into a bag. Fifth wife, into outer space. Sixth wife, on a rotissemat. Seventh wife, made out of jam. Eighth wife, makes sounds similar to putting babies on spikes. And the Pope's going. Italian accent, you crazy bugger. You can't do all this. What are you, a Mormon? You can't marry all these people. It's illegal. You can't do all this. I am the Pope, I am the head of the church, I have to keep up, ciao. I have to keep up standards. What have you been reading, the Gospel according to St. Bastard? So Henry VIII, who was Sean Connery for this film, said. Imitating Sean Connery, well then, I will set up a new religion in this country. I will set up the psychotic bastard religion. And an advisor said. Why not call it Church of England, sire? Church of England, actually. Much better, even though I'm Scottish myself. So they did. That's the birth of Church of England, the birth of the Anglican Church. Disgusting, eh? That's no basis to start a religion on. Nothing to do with the Protestant Church. I mean, Henry just jagged and killed a lot of women and then stole all the money off the monasteries. You know, rape and pillage, that is. Eddie Izzard. These old fuckers need to be reminded that they aren't above the rules of the state, and that they're not in fact above anyone, nor do they have any closer connection or more valid opinion on the nature of people or any proposed supernatural creator than my left bollock. Article about the Church of England. Comment section goes off on the Catholic Church. Real Reddit moment indeed. I almost feel bad for Catholics. If a group with zero connection, other than apostolic succession, gets in the news, they get pinned with it. Church corruption is an important issue, but can you guys not look like ignorant children when talking about it? For those of you confused, the Church of England is part of the Anglican Communion. The Church of England split from the Catholic Church in 1534, then rejoined, then left for good in 1570. The Church of England is like Catholicism in look alone. There is no papal authority in the Church of England. Internet atheists will continue being a mockery if y'all can't get fundamental ecclesiology down. What did everyone expect when the head of the church has a pedophile for a son? People conflating the co with the Roman Catholic Church, yet speaking with authority on the matter is always a fun one. Didn't take long to find it here either in the comments. Anyway, these crimes are abhorrent and the co has numerous procedures in place to stop this happening now, but sadly the truth is there will be a steady stream of historical cases for many years to come. This is appalling. My mother, and her two sisters, went to a school which was then run by the church and nuns. My mother was caned on her hand after she had corrective surgery on her thumb, and she couldn't hold a pen properly to write. The cane opened up her stitches and she had to have another surgery. My aunt, who is the sweetest and most open person I know, will never speak of the nuns other than that they were wicked people who allowed bad things to happen to her friends while at school, which makes me think that children were abused there, but I won't ask or push her to say more because it clearly is a subject she is still dealing with or struggling with. They come from a Catholic Irish family and none of them attended church again after my grandmother confronted the school about my mother's hand. I'm not sure what happened, but my grandmother's temper was legendary, so I can't imagine it went well. This revelation is the tip of the iceberg, and I'm very glad that some are strong enough to talk about what happened to them. I've seen so many documentaries about the church's abuse towards children and it's heartbreaking to see the impact it still has years later. I really admire the people who took part in the Keepers documentary on Netflix. They were so brave. Your time is up, Church of England. Why is this legal? Because it's the church. They're allowed to harbor and protect their pedophiles and allow them to continue working with children? These criminals need to be locked up. Fuck organized religion. I don't trust any of them. Today in shit we already knew. Just a reminder, the Church of England is not Catholic. Also note, the Roman Catholic Church has acknowledged the failure of abuse and is working to resolve it. There has been a continuous and concentrated effort with the clergy and the laity to root out and resolve the problem. It's one of the only religious institutions or any institution to acknowledge the problem and working to address it. Religionists, why are we losing followers? Secularism is the devil and the reason why they're turning away from the church. Attend church without those pesky anti-human rights masks. You must pay 10% of your income in tithes. There shouldn't be separation of church and state and still not pay taxes. Like all malignant narcissists, the church blames everyone else but themselves for their failure to address the reality of their own corruption and societal value failings. When you spend all your time externalizing blame, God's work in mysterious ways / has a plan, why would it be any different with everyone and everything else in life? Who forgives a fucking pedo? Removed. Christians have a weird interest in caring about you before you're born, then not giving a clear fuck about you after. Remember when the conservatives keep attacking consenting adults while pretending to support family values? It's all projection. Churches protecting paedophile is their long-standing tradition. Prince Andrew has entered the chat. The supreme governess of the Church of England might have a vested interest in protecting pedos, after all. Why act all surprised? The head of the Church of England has a famous son who likes to dabble in minors. Yes, I'm referring to fucking Queen Lizzie and pedo Prince Andy. I wish people, especially news sources, wouldn't use paedophile as a synonym for child sex offender. A paedophile is someone who suffers from the psychiatric disorder pedophilia. A child sex offender is someone who directly sexually abused a child, molestation or rape, or indirectly sexually abused a child, consumed child pornography. The Venn diagram of pedophiles and child sex offenders is not a pair of concentric circles, and the constant conflation of the two does nothing but put more children in danger.